The amazing gray poppies are blooming now. They look very nice. I didn't think I'd like them. I was like, amazing gray? That sounds terrible. Why would anyone want a gray poppy? But that's very pretty, especially, you know, with the red ones. And there's lots of bachelor buttons blooming, and some of them are very nice colors. Like, I like that one. I don't know if it's going to show up well with the camera. The camera doesn't have the best color, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with these. And I don't really have any tomatoes ripe, except, well, we have some that are ripe off the plants that we got from Superstore that were rescue plants. But anyway, so
they're like rescue dogs.
James is having soup and spring roll, strawberry and kiwi, and nobody got top of the stack. I'm gonna show you the stack here. So that's the lineup. And I guess I should mention this. I've been meaning to mention it. I got it because one year James had he told me about a ruby-throated hummingbird that he had in his yard, and it was a wonderful experience for him. And he was watering the garden, and with the spray thing, with the spray gun, and it came over and it wanted to have a shower while he was watering, so it was he really liked it. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, well, I'll get that feeder, and I was worried that it would be a wasp feeder, but it hasn't done that, at least. But we haven't seen any hummingbirds either, so I don't know. Anyway, so I guess I will go with the movies, and then James will talk about the music, because he's eating his soup and he may as well eat it while it's warm. So
it's just about right.
Nobody. James and I both enjoyed this. This was from the writer of John Wick, and I like the title Nobody. James likes the French title even more.
Even better, moins que rien, which is less than nothing.
Yep.
It's awesome. It basically just means nobody, but
yeah,
when you look at it objectively. Yeah.
I don't know if there are sequels to this already. This is 2021, and I hope there are. But maybe it didn't work out that way. I don't know. But this guy, I mean, you remember him from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. He's great for this role, because
it's a different kind of role for him.
It's a different role for him, but he plays it well. It's he does a job. He's working for his wife's family, and it looks like he's doing some sort of accountant or bookkeeping work, you know, something that you wouldn't expect a tough guy at all to do. So he's totally...
He's not a tough guy.
He's not a tough guy.
He's not even a tough talking guy, really, like Saul was in Better Call Saul.
Although you see, he keeps himself fit. He's out jogging, he does chin-ups, so he's not...
a wimp.
He's not a wimp, but he seems quite passive and pretty much invisible, really, which is perfect for this role. And
that's kind of how they got him dressed, right? Kind of drab color.
Sure. And yeah, I like the story a lot. There's some things where I'm like, okay, well, he would have got shot there. There's no way that he wouldn't have, you know, so this story would have ended there for him. That doesn't play out right. But
even I noticed that.
Yeah,
I'm not good at that.
You know, at the end with the cargo in the back, you're like, okay, yeah, they wouldn't haul it like that. It would be in crates or whatever. Like, this is ridiculous. Just like flying around loose. It's silly. So, but even so, top of the stack. Well, very entertaining.
With something like this, the whole thing is.
Yeah, I mean, you watch John Wick, and you're not, you know, you're not thinking, oh yeah, this is totally believable that John Wick is staying, you know. So you watch this and you kind of feel that way a bit too, right? But both James and I like, this is a very different character from John Wick. If you're watching, you like the action adventure with John Wick, well, you'll like it in this too. There's a lot of shoot 'em up, whatever. But
spoiler alert, there's one, not 7 flies killed with one blow, but 3 with one shot.
Yeah, we both like that one.
That
yeah.
was hilarious.
So, but anyway, this character, he uses his brains more. He's not. You're not going to hear a lot of one-liners from him or anything like that.
You end up laughing at how these bad guys die.
It's good comedy, action, adventure, and honestly, anybody who likes action adventure should like this. So I don't know what else to say.
Well, it's not just that. These shows have become huge franchises, and there's a reason. Little guys are getting kicked around by everyone.
Yep.
Politicians on the right and the left and up and down and forward and back are all been picking on little guys.
I don't know if they did the right thing with John Wick when he had a beagle at first, which was perfect. Him having a beagle, awesome. Any passive sort of person can identify with that, and they're like, yeah, take them all out, John Wick, take them all out.
Because that beagle got whacked, spoiler alert, right?
Yeah, if you watch.
Yeah, something like that, or got kidnapped. Yeah, well, I guess.
No, he got killed.
Yeah.
So, anyway, but when he replaced his dog with Pitbull, I don't know that that's really believable, but there are a lot of passive people who are getting pit bulls, but they shouldn't be.
You control something like that.
Yeah, I see like in the John Wick movies, there's somebody who has German Shepherds that like biting crotches, and that's a big hit, seeing German Shepherds bite people's penises repeatedly. But I can see that, passive people getting German Shepherds because they're very trainable
and they're intelligent.
But pit bulls,
and
not trainable, stupid, and aggressive.
Low on excitement too.
Exactly.
There's those 3 things that in one book we're looking at.
Yep.
Whereas pit bulls are bad on all 3. They're stupid. You can't train them. And they're highly excitable.
So there are passive people that are getting pit bulls, and they think, oh well, pit bulls are getting a bad rap because of the people who have been keeping pit bulls traditionally or whatever, keeping them and fighting them and being mean to them and whatever. But no, they are not a smart breed. They're bad. They're not easy to train. They're overly excitable, and they're aggressive. So if you have aggressive and you have high trainability and low excitability, well, you can work with that. But
German Shepherds are apparently.
German Shepherds are great.
Just so long as it's
you
not a rescue. You got to
put the work in. Yep.
And so long as you put the work in.
Yeah. So anyway, so I would have rather seen John Wick get a German Shepherd than a pit bull, but still the movie works, and you keep wanting to see it.
It would have been hilarious if he got a Yorkie and just bring it on. Bring it on, because I can take you out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He should swap that pit bull for a Yorkie next and say, yeah, it doesn't matter. I can take him. Protect my little Yorkie. So anyway, so James is right. That's the reason why these things are a big success. John Wick had a beagle, and that's like the ultimate family.
The only way it could have been worse, as far as I'm concerned, is if it had been a Basset Hound.
Yeah. Well, no, I think a beagle breeds better for people because it's a sweet little family dog.
People don't understand about Basset Hounds, how loving they are and stuff like that. But that's for me. Beagles people love them.
And this guy, at the back it says, Hutch is a nobody, as an overlooked and underestimated father and husband, blah, blah, blah. He takes life's indignities on the chin and never rocks the boat, whatever. And that's just it. They're writing for passive people that have been kicked around too long. And Yeah. So anyway,
The traditional right-wing parties, like the traditional Republicans, had a huge blowout. They'd gotten to the point where the inequities in wealth had gotten to the point where it was the same as in 1929, and Gloriowski, they ended up having the biggest, possibly stock meltdown, but definitely the biggest economic meltdown in the United States.
Yeah, and well,
By extension, the world
I
since
mean, passive people,
1929.
they probably won't say it to aggressive people, but they're honestly, many are starting to because they're that fed up. But
That's why they're voting
they'll
for
say it
Donald
to each other.
Trump. Yeah.
They'll talk with each other. Like many people have talked with me about how there's an inverse relationship between pay and responsibility and stuff like that. So the passive people are accepting, because they really have no choice and they realize it. They're accepting these low-paying jobs that are high. They have to work really hard for them. They have more responsibility, greater stress levels, and they know that people getting a position in management a little higher up, they have less. They're getting paid way more, but they have less responsibility, less work to do, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and frankly, passive people are sick of it, and they don't want to put up with it anymore. So, what are you going to do?
They got tired of the Republicans, and so they went for a hostile takeover of Donald Trump.
So then a lot of countries, they're bringing in immigration. Oh, yeah, immigrants will do these jobs then. Not for long, they won't. And then you lose your country. Enjoy, right? So, because they're not going to vote for you. They're not going to let you keep those management jobs and keep voting and keep working that way. That's not going to happen. So you're going to lose out.
So Canada's been letting in all sorts of people to handle the jobs that we wouldn't have enough young people to do. And yet we've got high unemployment. Say what? Yeah.
And so then you're seeing more people like just since 2020, we've seen women that are now homeless people. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm afraid they're going for a record for homelessness for Indigenous people. Indigenous people shouldn't be out of house and home because we're bringing in people from elsewhere, people who don't believe in democracy and don't believe in Indigenous rights in the places where they're coming from.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Middle East. Do you know which religion I'm talking about?
Lying
and
and
I'm
stealing.
talking about India.
So I put Lying and Stealing below James Taylor Pullover and Diane Warren Relentless. Although it's entertaining.
Does the guy had a lip job too?
I don't know.
I'm not a big fan of that. Either women or men doing that.
Anyway, the reason I put it below, it's entertaining and everything. It's just there's some things that aren't really, like, I don't understand why, like, on the back it says he teams up with a sexy con woman and whatever, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't really see.
I've seen skeletons that look sexy.
I don't really see her as such a con woman. They show her as a bit of a thief herself, and in a casino at one point. But honestly, she's whatever. I think they needed to get rid of that idea that she was a con woman, maybe, or either that or flesh it out more, because it didn't really work out that way. So anyway,
she doesn't look quite so thin.
Oh, she's very thin.
I couldn't get to sleep last night. I thought I'd bore myself to.
I thought I would too.
watching beach.
I got up at 1 in the morning. I had a bath. I watered the garden. Whatever.
I wasn't nearly so productive. I watched beach blanket bingo all hour and a half. It seemed like, well, it actually wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But you remember Linda Evans, who was in Dynasty or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Kind
yeah.
of like Ash Blonde.
Yeah.
She was in this. Now, I thought it was 1962, but it was actually when I was kind of first moved back to Canada. It's 1965, and I couldn't believe how cute she was, because she actually was carrying around some flesh.
Yeah.
She actually had 4 dimples, you know, the 2 dimples back here, and then dimples on her cheeks.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. Yeah.
But they had this was just 2 years before Twiggy. I think since Twiggy, it's just been insane.
Yeah.
Women's, because they had the women dancing in bikinis. They're obviously considered, and a lot of guys would call them, like in England, cows or whatever. But they were looking more like Marilyn Monroe and Jane Russell looked. Do you remember that movie where they were in? And they were not really carrying around weight, but they were carrying around some fat. It's natural for women to have more fat than
women.
men.
Yeah, and it's good as long as they have muscle to hold everything in the right place. Then it works out really nicely. Like, I need to work on that.
Marilyn Monroe was smart. She used to, it wasn't just walk, she'd jog. Right? So
old guy, this is just bad. And frankly, it's really not even the fault of the writing, the story, or anything like that. It's poor casting. Like, this guy
old
here.
Guy looks like a buffoon, but
he does. He doesn't look like a hitman sort of guy, and you know.
He looked, frankly, like a city of Lethbridge management guy. But
A bus driver, maybe. I'm not sure. But anyway, this guy here, the young guy, is supposed to be all treating his body like a temple and really fit. And
he's overweight.
Totally. He's not the kind of...
Jack Black has got competition.
I know. This guy likes potato chips as much as I do. He's not treating his body like a temple. Whatever.
Does he have his
ridiculous.
shirt tucked in, or... It's hilarious.
And this has Lucy Liu in it. Frankly, I've given up on Lucy Liu. I used to think, oh, well, that's great, you know, an Asian woman that's getting big roles and whatever. She doesn't deserve any...
She doesn't have the acting chops.
No, she hasn't
didn't
improved.
get it on her looks, I've got to say, but...
Well, she's not bad looking.
Well, anyone in Hollywood really isn't that bad looking.
She's not bad looking. But anyway, it's just, it doesn't work. It's
when you're competing with people like, well, I wouldn't say Cindy Crawford, who's Holly Berry, and Tom Selleck, you're going to look not that good on screen, even though if you saw a person in public, just out on the street, you say, wow, that person's done it.
So Woody Harrelson, how did a Woody Harrelson movie get bottom of the stack? It's true story.
I thought we were on a Woody Harrelson watch.
No, I love him.
Okay.
I love him.
Who am I mixing him up with?
I don't know.
Nicolas Cage. How could I do that?
Oh yeah, I don't know how you mixed up those two. Yeah. But anyway.
No, Woody Harrelson generally is pretty good.
Yeah.
I loved him.
And he did a great job in this too. The actors did a great job. It's an incredible story, but maybe one that you just want to read like a sentence about or whatever. You don't need to. You can read the back and, well, they don't really tell you what happens. But the guy, he doesn't have oxygen. He's down doing this scuba diving. I don't know what you call that work when they're like 1,000 feet down. So he's way down there, and he's out of. He doesn't have air for something like 17 or 18 minutes. Like, how did he live? So it is an incredible story, but that's all you need to know about it. Somehow he lived, and he was deprived of oxygen for a long time. So I don't know, the other day, or I guess that was that a week ago or 2? I lose track of time, when we saw that guy who he wasn't breathing outside the library.
3 weeks ago, maybe. It was awful. He was going to die without the, not jaws of life. What do they call that?
artificial pulmonary device.
Yeah.
Yeah, lucky thing. Somebody brought that out. Anyway, so this guy, I guess his heart must have still been beating, but really slowly or something, from the look of things, because the guy just gave him the breath of life a couple times and thought he was dead, right? They thought he was dead. They thought he was coming back, but then he spoke. So there you go. Spoiler alert, but you don't want to watch this because it's really boring. Honestly, I stopped it in the middle and I watched one of our dinners on my camera instead for a while because I was just like, oh, this is so boring.
He used to be on Cheers, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the only decent thing to come out of there. No.
I'll let you know how long you have.
15, I'm figuring.
That long? You have 8.
Okay. Anyway, which will I put on top? Okay. Spoiler alert. I've only watched maybe 5 minutes of this, but I got a fairly good idea of what it's going to be like. If I run across any revisions, I'm sure I will.
Well, I was surprised.
I'll mention it tomorrow.
Like, at first I was thinking, oh, well, who could
this?
this woman be? And, mentioning the people that she's worked with or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I didn't like any of those, so her stuff must be crap. But then when they first played the If I Could Turn Back Time with the Cher, I thought, oh, wow, I remember those lyrics, and I hadn't liked Cher at all, so... but the lyrics are catchy. I could, well, the chorus anyway. I don't know if I could remember all the lyrics, but I could remember the whole chorus. And if you're going to write a catchy pop song, well, it's got to be memorable. And so everybody must remember that. If I did, you didn't.
No, I remember the first 2 lines maybe.
Oh, okay.
But the good lines, I hadn't caught.
Oh, really?
Now that might be the fault of production or the singer or whatever. But
well, I remember all of them because,
I know they're catchy sorts of things. Yeah. Now I consider folks like her the devil incarnate because what happened was there was Tin Pan Alley, and then rock and roll came along. And the guys who wrote Jailhouse Rock and Charlie Brown, I think they might have written Stand By Me with Ben E. King, but I'm not sure about that. But a lot of other things, Along Came Joe and so on and so forth. They started the follow-up to that in the early 60s. And I like those guys, but I didn't like what they did as businessmen. It's called Brill Building Pop, and it ended up with things like the Monkees and the Archies and all that sort of stuff. But it was more like the early 60s, and what broke they were setting up a monopoly. It was, I Want to Hold Your Hand, and She Loves You. Because those guys, the Beatles I'm talking about, wanted to be writers. They wanted to do demos for people. They didn't think of themselves necessarily as a performing band, but they were good eventually at performing. They had to learn their chops, particularly George Harrison. He really improved as a guitarist. And then one of the things that happened was everyone thought that they could write like the Beatles, just like Marvin Gaye. Hey, I'm going to write my lyrics and music. Early Marvin Gaye songs, he did co-write some of them, but he was writing with some pros.
Yeah, but those songs, at least the ones that I heard that they played on there, they're catchy. Whereas the James Taylor stuff, I can't.
Well, he's one of the guys who comes. He was actually, his first record was put out on Apple Records, the Beatles sort of thing. He's the kind of guy who should have been working with a lyricist, a poet. Very few people understood that. Like Cream wrote had poets write some of their lyrics. That's Eric Clapton's, not his first group, but his major group. The Grateful Dead. Most of their leader lyrics, I think, or many of them, were written in conjunction with a guy, they were written by a guy called, I think, Robert Hunter. And not the greatest poet in the world, but Bob Dylan covered one of their songs, I think. And, James Taylor, his stuff, again, it's not even catchy. I'm embarrassed to say I did buy one of his albums.
Oh, really?
I'm not so embarrassed to say it was his first big hit is Fire and Rain 1970. So it wasn't his first album. The first one with the Beatles that had Carolina on My Mind. The funny thing is, I think he's gone down as a songwriter, but it happens to a lot of people. But it happened with him really quickly. Was it because he was a junkie? I don't know. But he had some things wrong with him. I mean, he wrote one song, I think on his first album, called Knocking Round the Zoo. And the zoo is code for a mental asylum. So he was confined for a while. He was actually apparently suicidal. So that's what Fire and Rain, when he's singing, the lyrics kind of let him down. The first verse, I think, is pretty good. When he's talking about, I wrote down this song. I just don't remember who to send it to. It's like, I presume the Suzanne he's talking about died or something like that. But then the second verse, he's talking about, won't you look down upon me, Jesus? Won't you help? And I found that creepy, like when I was a kid. But it's apparently about him going through heroin withdrawal. And I guess a lot of people find that really, really hard. I've gone through opiate withdrawal. I had to take it for my 5 fractured vertebrae. It wasn't my idea. My oncologist suggested it, and basically insisted on it. And I was on it for a year, pretty well. But, like even that song, like the third verse, it's about his group Flying Machine breaking up. But it's just like, what's he singing about? Not very specific. But the stuff, like Pauline knows, the tunes just really aren't there. And he's actually got a reasonably good voice. He should be able to write some tunes. It's not as though he's got a limited range like Lou Reed or even Mick Jagger. He's got a way better voice than Mick Jagger. But no, I'm happy to say I only bought one James Taylor album. It was that one. And I can remember 1970, end of 1970, John Lennon gave a big interview with Rolling Stone, and they were asking him a response to certain things. What do you think of CCR? Oh, they played beautiful Clearwater music, because it was the sort of stuff that a lot of it that John Lennon raised himself on, rockabilly, blues, rhythm and blues, whatever. Then they asked, what do you think of James Taylor? I don't care for Sweet Baby that much. And I was going, sacrilege, because I liked James Taylor at that point in time, but he'd been on John Lennon's, Paul McCartney's label with Apple Records. But he just doesn't have it. So Rolling Stone in their review, they get a lot of reviews wrong, but this is 2001 performance. Very professional. Rolling Stone says, a good-natured evening of dependable, reassuring musicianship. So he plays, he actually plays finger-picking guitar. Their bassist looks as though he might be finger-picking with all, and like that Les Claypool, he does it, right? Yeah. John Entwistle, I think he's been long dead now, but he used to do, I think, with all the fingers. So there's some pretty good musicianship. The drummer is Russ Kunkel. I knew his name way back in 1970. He's on that album, and James Taylor points it out. He played on Fire and Rain, and he played on You've Got a Friend, which was on the album released the next year, 1971. But so it's the first time I've ever seen Russ Kunkel. He's just been a name to me, and he's there. Like he's missing even more hair than me. I think he shaved his head off and stuff like that. But I think he was basically something like a studio musician more than anything else, working out of LA.